Hello and welcome to the February edition of PEPELT. PEPELT stands for Picture Books in European Primary English Language Teaching. My name is Sandie and I talk about picture book as object, and this month we have an amazing picture book which is just perfect for the things that I want to talk about. The topic for the month is award-winning picture books, and we have chosen Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love. Jessica Love is this is her first picture book, and she's won several awards as an up-and-coming new illustrator. So the picture book was published originally in the US by Candlewick Press, and it was published in 2018 in the US and in the UK. In the UK it was published with Walker Books. This is the Walker Book edition. In fact, you might notice that the Walker Book edition does not have an accent on Julian. Yep. So in the Walker edition it is in English, and in the US edition, the Candlewick Press edition, this is a bilingual, I don't know if you'd call it bilingual, but it has a couple of Spanish expressions in it. Because it features a Afro-Latinx family who will speak Spanish. So it has words like abuela for grandma, mijo for son, vámonos, and that sounds very Brazilian, doesn't it? But because I speak Portuguese, but yeah, that kind of thing. And of course Julian calls his grandma abuela rather. I actually asked Jessica, but on email, why she wanted to have those Spanish words, and she explained it was because she conceived the characters as being Afro-Latinx and as being a bilingual family and as living in New York, and I presume that was very typical. And in the UK, African descent or Afro-Latinx population would be people from an African descent that would come directly from African countries, and so if they were bilingual, they would not be speaking Spanish, they would be speaking other languages. And so Walker Books asked if the book could be only in English, and Jessica writes that she gave them their permission, and she thought it was more important that the book reach a wide audience, even if it means adapting a little bit with each edition. So that's interesting. Anyway, so she won with the Walker Books edition, which was also published in 2018. She won the Klaus Fluge Prize for the most exciting newcomer to children's picture book illustration, and she was also shortlisted for the Kate Greenaway Award in 2019. With the US edition, she won the Ezra Jacks Keats Honor Book Award. This is an award also for outstanding new bookmakers who also represent diversity in children's literature for a better world, so that's an important award. And the American Library Association organises the Stonewall Book Award. In fact, you can see here on the front, this is the symbol for the Stonewall Book Award, which is presented to English language books that have exceptional merit relating to gay, lesbian, bisexual or transgender experience, and they have to be works that are published in the US. And so this picture book won that award because it is about a boy who wants to transition. He wants to become a mermaid. So the story, I'm just going to read the blurb from the book. Every Saturday morning, Julian and his abuela go swimming. But the day that Julian spies 3 women on the subway, everything changes. He is entranced by their beautiful hair, their swishy, shimmering mermaid gowns, and their total confidence. When Julian gets home, all he can think of is becoming a mermaid himself. But what will Abuela think? And so it is a story of acceptance. It's a story of support, of respect for difference, for wanting to be who you are. His abuela accepts that Julian wants to be a mermaid. She gives him, so he dresses up using her curtains. She gives him a necklace, and she takes him for a walk to join the Mermaid Parade, which takes place in Coney Island which is a part of New York, of New York State. It's a parade which happens annually in June to celebrate the arrival of the summer season, and it pays homage to the Coney Island Mardi Gras parades of the beginning of the last century. And it celebrates marine life, and so people dress up in marine-like outfits. And so, of course, Julian just mixes in and becomes part of the parade, and is very, very happy dressed up as a mermaid. There he is. It's a fantastic story of acceptance, yeah. So, picture book as object then. We have a lovely front cover there, and this muted sort of pinky colour is present throughout the book, because the illustrations are painted on brown craft paper. Now, in many of the articles that are online about Jessica's creation of the picture book, she talks about creating it first with on white paper, and she'd had, I think, 2 or 3 versions, and when she went to make copies it just didn't seem right, and so she had the idea of doing it on brown paper. And one of the reasons why she couldn't make it work was because she wanted to focus on the Afro-Latinx character, and so the darker skin was just didn't work with the white background. But as soon as she placed it on the brown paper, it became absolutely perfect. And as you can see here, this is a lovely spread where he begins to imagine being a mermaid. So that's something interesting. Also, you can tell the children, talk about the fact that it was actually painted by hand on brown paper. So we have some really lovely little illustrations here on the flaps of the dust jacket. Here we have Julian. Sorry, can you see? He's looking out, but in his reflection, he's got long hair like a girl. And the magical thing here is, if you take off the dust jacket, you have a different illustration on the back. Well, underneath, it's just beautiful. This is a representation of something later on in the book when he dreams of being a mermaid. So fantastic end papers, where these really are the beginning of the book. In fact, because Jessica had never created a picture book before, she didn't know about how she could use all the different parts of the picture book to create visual significance. And it was the designer and the editor who suggested that she begin the visual narrative on these parts of the picture book. And so we have Julian in the swimming pool with his grandma and her friends. They're doing a kind of keep fit swim, and he's swimming around with them. And then the title page is a double spread there, and we can see that they're coming out of the swimming pool, and Julian is already thinking about this idea of being in the water and how wonderful it feels. We can see the illustration that you saw on the front cover, and which comes later. Maybe it's the beginning of an idea of him being a mermaid. And he's actually being followed by 3 ladies dressed in mermaids. And then the first opening, here they are on the train on the way home, those 3 mermaids. He's seen them, and I'm just going to read you this opening. This is a boy named Julian, and this is his abuela. And these are some mermaids. Julian loves mermaids. And then we see how he changes into a mermaid. He dresses up as a mermaid, and his abuela accepts that and takes him to the mermaid parade. Something else I read, which I thought was interesting, was that Jessica had originally thought of this as being a wordless book. But through the illustrations, she felt that it wasn't quite clear that he was a boy, and he looked more like a girl in some of the illustrations. And so this is why she decided, no, it had to have words. So, she actually says, this is a boy named Julian. She wanted that to be very clear in the words so that it helped you understand. I'm just going to finish by saying, oh, no, I'm not going to finish by saying, so I've shown you the end papers, the title page, and the back end papers show Julian with his grandma and her friends, and they are all mermaids, and Julian there has become his dream mermaid, long hair, long flowing hair, beautiful tail, and there they all are in the water. It's a fantastic ending there, and such a complete object. I just want to say that in the Klaus Fluge Prize in 2019, Anthony Brown, another very famous illustrator, was on the panel, a judging panel, and he writes, Julian is a Mermaid is an astonishingly beautiful book. It's amazing to realise this is Jessica Love's first attempt. She has quickly realised how picture books work. The understated words fit so brilliantly with the stunning illustrations, never getting in the way, never trying to do the same job. It's a perfect picture book. It really is. It is beautiful. So well done, Jessica. I'm very excited to hear what Gail, Tasha and Annetta are going to tell you about the picture book. I have lots of ideas, but of course I can't share them because I talk about picture book as objects, so I'm really excited to hear what they're going to say. It's been a long film, I'm really sorry, 11 minutes, that's almost double what I normally do, but this really is a very, very special picture book. Enjoy the month, and if you do buy the picture book, and if you do use it in your classroom with the children, do let us know how it goes. We would really like to know. Enjoy February, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.